Great to have you with us. In our first story, two girls, both aged 15, reported missing by the Ghana Police Service a week ago, have been found at Gomwa Nyenyano in the company of 6 young men who took turns to sexually abuse them. According to ASP Efia Tenge, 4 of the 6 men between 25 and 30 years are being arraigned before court.
The police have arrested 4 suspects and still pursuing 2 others who harbored 2 teenagers and sexually abused them in turns. Those arrested are Benjamin Mensah, Vincent Avi, Samuel Otu, Kingsley Chidi, with 2 others whose names have only been given as Seth and Senior, who are presently at large. The brief facts are that a report was made to the Odoko police on the 8th of February by the parents of 2 missing girls who left for school and never returned. Whilst the police was still investigating the whereabouts of these girls in earnest, it was established that on the 7th February 2020 at about 6:50 a.m., both victims left their respective homes for school at Malam. While school was in session, victims left school unceremoniously around 11 a.m. to meet one Seth and Senior, now at large, at Makati Hills. Both suspects had sexual intercourse with the victims and later left them to their fate. Later that day, a senior brother to one of the victims spotted them in a desperate situation on his way back home at Malam Junction and questioned them as to why they were loitering about during school hours. They were unable to come out with tangible reasons, and for fear of being reprimanded, they absconded and sought refuge at Gomwa Nyenyano near Kaswa in the central region. On the 13th of February 2020, an auntie to one of the victims received a telephone call from one Samuel Otu to the effect that the victims were lodging at his end and requested for some changing clothes and money for their upkeep, since the girls had intentions of spending about a month with them. Luck eluded them on the 14th of February 2020 around 10:30 p.m. A joint operation between the Gbarilafa Police and Nyenyano District Police Command led to the arrest of all 4 suspects at their separate abodes in Kaswa. 2 are on the run and efforts are still underway to get them apprehended.
Now, the missing girls were reported to have left home on February 7, 2020, until one of the girls called home to ask for money and clothes. ASP Efia Tenge had this advice for parents.
Now, what is the police saying? The police would like to remind parents of our parental responsibilities, of constant interaction with our wards, needed discipline, supervision, and taking keen interest in issues that concerns our own children. Let's not only invest our time in our work, but also devote some time in the upbringing of our children. Sometimes, or most times, what we see is that children are left to do whatever they like, going out unchecked, and later become the problem of society and security services. Let me also emphasize that the domestic violence and victim support units that the police has do not only exist to investigate issues concerning abuses, they also offer some psychological assistance and counseling to children who are drifting from their acceptable societal standards or norms. So parents can also seek the support of those units.
Away from that, the Supreme Court has, in a unanimous decision, refused an application seeking to halt ongoing construction works on the National Cathedral. The 7-member panel, presided over by Chief Justice Kwesi Enin, today ruled that appropriate remedies exist to be used by the court to provide compensation if it rules against the state in the substantive case. A businessman, Jonathan Holm, is in court alleging that the government has breached portions of the Constitution in allowing state land to be used in a manner that does not serve public interest. He wants a declaration of the action as unconstitutional, with the land returned to the original owners. Court correspondent Joseph Akable was in court as the panel urged the lawyers for the businessman to pursue the substantive matter, since this is the second time it has refused an application filed by the court. Joseph joins us on the line. Joseph, how different is this case from the earlier Cathedral case that was dismissed, with the court holding that the state can support or can continue with the construction?
So, Daniel, the earlier Cathedral case dealt with whether it was constitutional for the state to be involved in itself by extending religious support or some form of support to a religious body for undertaking such construction. And so that was a matter that the Supreme Court dealt with, coming to the conclusion that Ghana admits the fact that religious groups exist and the state is allowed to offer such assistance that it deems necessary, unless a case of discrimination has been alleged, which was not the case in that particular matter. With this particular case, the point is making is that the land where it's a land that belongs to various families that the state acquired many years ago. And when the state acquired the land, the state had indicated that I was going to use the land for public interest purposes. And so they are in court saying that the land is not being used for public interest. The cathedral does not fit a public interest purpose. And so the Supreme Court should rule in their favor, directing that the ongoing work halt on the construction, for the construction of the National Cathedral. But they had earlier filed an application for contempt, saying that pending the determination of this particular matter, with the state ongoing, continuing with the construction, that amounts to a contempt of court. But the court disagreed and dismissed that application, Daniel.
Now, you said in the intro that we read, Joseph, that the court said there was enough room to remedy the situation if the court ruled against the state. What does that mean?
And so the point that the Chief State Attorney, Dorothy Efiansa, who argued this particular case, made was to the effect that the businessman in this particular matter, Jonathan Holm, is not the owner of the land in question. The land does not belong to him. It belongs to a family that the state acquired the land from. And so in the event the state continues building on the land, and the court holds that the state is not using the land for public interest, and so it cannot continue with the construction, all the state would have to do to compensate the family would be to provide another land to the family, or perhaps pay the family money. On the other hand, in the event that the court says that the state is right in its construction, the state has been prevented from constructing for many years, especially when it has contracted people to undertake the construction, the businessman is not in a position to obviously compensate the state. And so the balance of probability tilts in favor of the state, that the state risks losing more if it's halted from carrying out with the construction at this stage. So that is what the court held in agreeing with the opinion of the Attorney General's office by concluding that the construction can continue at this stage.
Thank you very much, Joseph Akable, for bringing us those details. Let's move to other stories. And some 2.8 million customers of ECG, representing 73% of the utility company's customer base, can from today to
from power delivery effectively and efficiently. What is so unique about this, as I said, as Ghanaians, we have to be proud of what ECG is doing, is that this mobile app was developed in-house by ECG, and that is remarkable. The team was out here, and we are very, very proud of you, and please keep going. Don't stop there. There's more that you can do. With this new application, as we have been told, about 2.8 out of the 3.8 million ECG customers can now buy electricity credit from the comfort of their homes, anytime and anywhere. And what is more, you can now buy credit for distressed family members and distressed acquaintances. And you will suddenly see a lot of distressed acquaintances appearing. So in Ghana today, you can send your distressed acquaintances either Momo or electricity credit.
Now, in 2 days, the President, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, will deliver the State of the Nation address. This will be his fourth since assuming office. As part of our build-up to the day, we bring you some of the issues he raised at the 2019 edition. The President promised construction of a dam to hold the excess water spilled from the Bagri Dam in Burkina Faso. The minority is raising concerns the budget for the project is over-bloated, hence the approval has been deferred. Until now, the excess water often flooded communities in the upper regions. Listen to the President.
We're putting in place plans to avert the perennial flooding caused by the spillage of the Bagri Dam, which has resulted in the constant loss of lives and property over the years. In the short term, desalting of the White Volta will be undertaken this year, in conjunction with discussions with the Burkinabés to regulate the flow of the spillage and mitigate its impact. The Ministry of Works and Housing will in the coming week receive a report on a feasibility study conducted by the Chinese company Sinohydro for the construction of a dam at Ouagadougou to serve as a receptacle to hold the volume of water spilled from the Bakri Dam for irrigation purposes and also for the generation of electricity. This will be the permanent solution to the Bagri Dam problem.
Now, in November last year, the President cut the sword for the $993 million dam and irrigation project to avert the perennial flooding caused by the spillage of the Bagri Dam. My colleague Emefa Ewenam Etiamwa Eli was in Ouagadougou recently and reports on the state of the spillways there.
I am standing right on the bridge over the Bagri Dam, where water is spilled every September, thereabouts. This is where we always report that people's farmlands get flooded and washed away as a result of the spillage of excess water from that dam in Burkina Faso. So just behind me, you can see the extent and the width of the spillage ways. At the moment, it's a bit dry because it is in the dry season. It's not that time of the year yet where you have the rains around, so it's a bit dry. You can see a lot of silt in there. If you go a little around it, you see a lot of farms, people's farms surrounded all over on both ends. I can count not less than 100 farms around here, mostly vegetable farms. And also I can see some cattle at the background.
Meanwhile, there have been controversies over the cost of the multi-purpose dam, with the majority leader Oseche Mensah Bonsu rubbishing claims by the minority leader Haruna Idrisu that the cost of the project is bloated.
Of the present letter, this is worth noting. There is a paragraph we read: the Ouagadougou multi-purpose dam and irrigation project will be funded through the budget in 2020. If it's budget, then we demand, where is the financing agreement? Budget is not a financing agreement, and it cannot be a financing agreement. And therefore, you brought a document earlier and said loan agreement. I'm pointing out your contradictions, that they must take it seriously. If there's a financing agreement, lay it and bring it. If it is budget, say so. But 2020 budget, you can't go and correct anything in it. If it was not in it, it was not in it. So, Ouagadougou, let the committees work. The Speaker did a referral, and they informed me that they are yet to meet. Indeed, they are saying that they will meet tomorrow, which then will mean that the earliest time they could submit their report to us will be perhaps Thursday or Friday. I think it's important that the two committees engage themselves on the contract agreement in respect of the facility. The Speaker, at the last leg, when he started debating, I will resist the temptation to debate him. I thought they had said that they had not seen the document, they needed time to study it. However, they jumped the cut and went and organized a press conference to say that the facility is too expensive, even though they said that they had not even seen the contract agreement. However, they arrived at that conclusion, only they can tell. But Mr. Speaker, I resist that temptation. Let's wait until the Joint Committee comes back with their report.
I direct further that these items should be listed only when the relevant report on the further referral is ready for consideration of this Honorable House, and that the leader of the House and the clerk should ensure that what we now await to move forward comes to us as soon as possible.
Information Minister Kojo Ponkroma says the raid of a training ground of some secessionists is just the beginning of government's efforts to clamp down on the activities of the group. Security agencies are on the manhunt for anyone connected with the Homeland Study Group Foundation, demanding an independent Western Togoland from Ghana. A special operation by the 66th Artillery Regiment of the Ghana Armed Forces rounded up 21 recruits undergoing training at a remote location 10 kilometers north of Volta region town Joje, along Ghana's border with Togo. JoyNews editor Fred Smith has more.
They were able to round up 20 of them. We just got one who was finding his way out, so that makes it 21 in all. We are told they were estimated to be between 20 and 25. Between 20 and 25.
So some are actually on the run?
Yes, we can say about 3 or 4 are on the run, but we are still, the operation is not yet over.
How were you able to determine that this young man we found is part of them?
He has confessed. He has confessed as being one of them. And he has mentioned somebody he joined the group with. So there's a confirmation that he's one of them.
We came and met them sleeping. Okay. Because obviously around that time you will expect that in a training camp, that is the time they sleep.
Which side were they sleeping, if you can point to me? Okay. So I can see mat.
A mat, yes.
Okay, so...
And this one is like a canopy for them. They use wood and rubber to cover the top. This is a mosquito net. That is a cover sheets. You see the boots? You can see even bowls, because they sleep here, they eat here.
Okay.
So you can see some of their cooking utensils or the bowls that they used to eat. So this is where we found most of them.
How does such a place qualify as a military training base?
Okay, I'll start with the vegetation. You see how thick the vegetation is. This one, it's a false natural cover. When you are here, until somebody enters, the person will not know that there are people here. Here, even without the tent they did, or the canopy they did, you can sleep under it. It gives you shade during the day. Even when it rains, it will be difficult for the rain to touch you because of the natural cover that it provides. At the same time, the vegetation also, it allows you to escape when there is any attack. You know that out of 25, we got 21. So therefore, we believe strongly that they are people who know this place very well. So they were able to escape. This is a new terrain for us, and so they were able to beat us. Now you look at the terrain itself, the ground. You see the ground is not flat. Okay. It's undulating. It can do a lot of things. The ground itself is suitable for training because it is rugged. You can see the valleys. Some places there are valleys, some places there are high grounds. And so even walking around here is enough to make you fit. They're the same way again. You see the river line that you see there? Yes. Yes, when you are escaping through this river line, where we came from, this one takes you straight there. So assuming an attack comes from this direction, you only jump into the valley there, and it leads you straight outside the camp, and you are gone.
Does this give the indication that those behind this training camp are actually skilled in military matters?
Well, as a professional military officer, if I am in charge of such a thing, I believe that I will do some of the things that I've seen. And so even though I can't tell whether they are skilled or not, but this is obviously people who know what they are about. This is about 3 kilometers from Joje. Specifically, the name is Cathedral. Cathedral, that's the name that the villagers around gave us. And it's about 3 kilometers from the Joje town. Yes, but the name is Cathedral.
And we do understand that this is quite close to the Togo border with Togo.
Yes, you can check your mobile phone or your...
JoyNews also spoke to the only female recruit rescued.
Justine Abuchi.
Justine?
Abuchi.
Abuchi. What are you doing here?
They are training us. They told us they are coming to do farm work. So when we came, they said they are coming to train us.
No, is that they told you that?
We are coming to do farm work for the whites.
Farm work?
Yes.
For white people? Okay, and when you got here, they said it's the military training?
Yes, please.
Okay, so what have you been doing in this training?
We have been doing jogging and those exercises that they have been doing. I've also been doing.
Exercises? How long were you here?
For 1 week.
You were here for 1 week? Okay, so in this 1 week, how were you surviving? Did you tell your parents you were coming here?
Where I am right now, my parents don't know anything about it. When I reached here, they took my phone from me, so I was not able to communicate with them and told them where I am right now.
Okay, so do you know where you are?
No, please.
You have no idea where this place is?
Yes.
I see. Do you really want to be a soldier?
No.
You don't want to be a soldier? Okay, so when you realized we were giving you training for what you don't want to do, why didn't you leave here?
The person trained us, he told us that if you don't know we want to run away, you go and enter Togo. And then in the election year, if you don't take time, they'll kill you. So I'm afraid, I don't know where I'll pass in.
Now, speaking on top story yesterday, as the raid that led to the arrest of some 21 people, the information minister indicated government will ensure the activities of the group are halted.
A combination of Bureau of National Investigation officers and national security officers, as well as military intelligence officers, will be commencing a proper interrogation exercise to get a detailed understanding of all that has transpired at this training facility to make the necessary determination of the laws that have been breached by this exercise so that the consequential action is taken. Remember, a little over a couple of months ago, government issued a statement clearly making the point that any such activity will be in contravention of the Republic's laws and that the state security apparatus remain on the alert to deal with any such acts. And in the days gone by, the intelligence reports that came in proved to be of an actionable nature. The managers of our national security apparatus have been very clear that this sort of behavior, attempts at secession, attempts at training paramilitary groups, is in contravention of the laws of our country, and any persons involved in it will be hunted down and dealt with in accordance with our laws. This, therefore, cannot be the end of it. The necessary intelligence protocols that were activated the very first time these activities were observed will continue to be in place so that the persons behind this exercise are apprehended and are dealt with in accordance with the laws of the Republic.
From that story, board chairman for the Ghana Trade Fair Company Limited, Daniel Macaulay, says his organization has no intention of destroying Ghanaian businesses. Former journalist Raymond Archer accused the company of same after the factory he owns, sited at the Trade Fair Center, was demolished. Responding to the allegations on the Super Morning Show today, Mr. Macaulay denied the allegations, saying the demolition followed a purely legal process.
I don't think this current government is targeting to collapse businesses. Let me give you one simple scenario. We have to build a trade fair. If you pick me as a leader, it has to be built, irrespective of whatever. But at the same time, you don't have to hurt or collapse or destroy anybody else's business on the way.
Why did you demolish the structure? Why did your company demolish the structure?
Honestly, I'm the board chair. We have one of the best CEOs in this country sitting at a trade fair. This is a very learned, educated doctor who left her job in the United States of America to come and help build a trade fair. I am sitting at the trade fair as a board chair. I don't have any interest, personal interest. My personal interest there is to make sure that the trade fair is built, that I have my name written on it, that when I was the board chair, the place was built. And also, I'm a son of the soil. I'm from La. And if the trade fair is built, just imagine how many jobs to be created in that environment. I really don't know, but the management did what they have to do. I think they went by the law. And as far as I'm concerned, Raymond took the trade fair to court. And I think the CEO acted in the best interest of the trade fair after court decisions. So I really don't know. I normally don't interfere in management. Many organizations you see there's problem between board and management. My management style or my leadership style, I don't get in the way of management. What management had to do is work and deliver and report to the board. Whatever management bring to the board, it will be acted on in the best interest of this country.
Yeah, but as head of the board, some would say the buck stops with you. The final question will be answered by you. So do you know, for instance, because Mr. Archer has raised questions about who these investors are who will be coming to do the developments at Trade Fair? Do you know who they are?
The Trade Fair sitting there are going to be developed by many investors. It's open. Today you can walk in there. If you have something interesting to do, you will have a chance to do it. And when you look at the master plan, it fits all. We're going to have shopping malls, we're going to have banks, we're going to have cocoa industry there, we're going to have amusement parks, we're going to have apartments, we're going to have the Ghana Pavilion, we're going to have Ghana businesses.
Still live on JoyNews today, coming up in business. After the cleanup, banks are becoming more compliant to banking regulations. We hear from the managing director of SG Bank Ghana.
Banks which are still now operating, we know that they are respectful of all the norms and the regulation which has been introduced to make the banks strong.
Daryl Kwa will tell you more after this.